Good evening. Namaste. Welcome to my new series of videos on the subject of Tantra. Now, Tantra has been gaining popularity all across the world, and the number of people who are curious about Tantra seems to have undergone an explosion in recent years, as have the number of people who claim to be teachers of Tantra. I would like to share with you my understanding of Tantra, the understanding that I have gleaned from 36 years of spiritual seeking and practice. Sanskrit words are very, very meaningful. They don't merely point at something. Sometimes the word has the power to create the thing. All philosophies accept that the word, in the beginning was the word, and then, whatever, rest of creation came along. So, the word Tantra, what does it mean? Tantra means, Tan means body, Tra means freedom from. Freedom from the body. What does that mean? It means freedom from physical limitations. Which is why people are so interested in Tantra, because they take this whole thing very literally, and their whole pursuit is to acquire siddhis or supernatural powers without understanding or exploring even whether the siddhis that have been spoken about are states of consciousness or actual physical powers. So let's look at Tantra, the word. Tra comes from Tran, which means to, Tran means to rescue, and Tan means the body. It means that knowledge which frees you from mortal consciousness, that knowledge that frees you from bodily identification and the identification with bodily sufferings and bodily limitations. It is, in fact, a great scientific tradition that has evolved over millennia. And this is a science that has been born out of the experience of genuine meditators, who are also called yogis. India is the land of yogis, some of the greatest yogis history has ever seen. The other place that comes to mind geographically is Tibet, where Vajrayana Buddhism, Tantrism, is practiced. So the Tantric teachings are found in India. They originate from India, and they have been preserved in a pure form in amongst the Tibetans, the Tibetan Buddhist communities, because Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni, gave these Mahayana, or great vehicle. It's a vehicle for liberation. He gave these teachings to those who had the capacity to become yogis. A yogi, yoga means to join. So a yogi is one who wants to join his finite consciousness with the infinite consciousness. Right? A yogi is one who wants to overcome the limitations that come from bodily identification, because the body is a source of much suffering. It would be a great error to say that only the body is the source of suffering, because, well, we all know now, so is the mind. But here's the thing, the body and the mind are not two separate entities. The mind permeates the entire body, right? The body experiences whatever it experiences through the agency of the mind. The mind and the brain are often thought to be the same thing. They are not. The brain is the instrument that perceives, and the mind is a non-physical, energetic principle that facilitates perception, the process of perception by this physical instrument. Now we have 5 senses: sight, smell, sound, taste, and touch. Sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. So these 5 senses that we have are called the Pancha Tanmatras. So add to these 5 Pancha Tanmatras the Pancha Bhutas. Bhu means the earth, that which has been created. That which has been created is called Bhu in Sanskrit. And so very often God or signs of God that are self-manifest are called Swayam Bhu. Swayam means by itself, not created by any man. So Swayam Bhu, self-manifested. And Bhu refers to all things that have been created. So Panchabhutas, the 5 elements: fire, water, air, earth, and the 5th element is interpreted differently in different places. Some say ether, some say space, others say spirit. So these are the Pancha Bhutas, the 5 elements which constitute all that is created. Okay? So you've all heard the Pancha Akshari mantra. Akshar means that which can never be destroyed. There is sound. In the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was the Word. So that word is called, sound is called Akshara. Kshara means that which can be destroyed. Akshara means that which cannot be destroyed, that which is eternal, sound. And those of you who are familiar with the Akashic records and Edgar Casey and his teachings and the way he used to access the Akashic records, which are basically the sound vibrations which have, once a sound is released into the Panchabhutas, created universe, that sound, it may be audible at the moment and then it trails off. But that particular wave of sound, that sound wave, it is said to travel across the universe in an infinite loop. So it is never destroyed. And so those who are sensitive, those who are clairaudient, those who can hear sounds, that's one of the siddhis, one of the powers, right? Clairaudience, to be able to hear divine sounds which nobody else can hear. Anahatanada, the sound that is produced without any physical source, so it appears. So spiritual sound is also a very, very deep subject and a very, very important aspect of Tantra. But anyway, no details today, just a general exploration. So Edgar Casey, what he did was he accessed the universal library of sound. He was able to listen to sounds which were uttered in the distant past, which supposedly exist within space or the ether, as it was called in the olden days, or in the realm of spirit, as spiritualists like to refer to it. Now, coming back to Tantra, you've all heard the Panchakshari mantra, Namah Shivaya. Panchakshar means 5 sounds, 5 syllables. Pancha means 5, Akshara means sounds. So, Namah Shivaya. These 5 sounds are the 5 sounds of creation. Na is associated with the earth element, Ma with the water element, Shi with the fire element, Va with the air element, and Ya with the ether or space or spirit element. So when yogis use these sounds in different ways, what they are doing is they're trying to balance the elements within and without. They're trying to achieve a state of perfect harmony and equilibrium. Right? Now, Tantra has so many aspects that it's impossible to touch on all of them in a few videos. So I will continue to do many of them. Now, one of the basic concepts in Tantra is the concept of the goddess, the sacred feminine, which has gained greater acceptance and has gained greater meaning in today's world um, because of increased feminism and recognizing the equal importance of the female and the equal importance of the feminine in each and every one of us. So in Tantra, sacred masculinity and femininity, one has to achieve a perfect union of the two. Okay, like yin and yang. The sun is masculine and the moon feminine. A mountain masculine, a river feminine. These concepts can also be found in psychoanalysis, and those who have studied the works of Carl Gustav Jung will be very familiar with these symbols, the archetype and the archetypal symbols, which were studied in great detail by Carl Gustav Jung. We will stop here today. In the next talk, I will start talking about the sacred feminine, and I will discuss the concept of the Mahavidyas, the Dasha Mahavidya, or the 10 great emanations of wisdom, the 10 great emanations of wisdom, all of whom are visualized or embodied as feminine beings, goddesses, Kali, Tara, Bagala, Matangi, so on and so forth. There are 10 goddesses. The root goddess is Goddess Kali, who, everyone's heard of, right? So we will speak about Goddess Kali in the next video that I do. Stay tuned for the next video, probably in a day or two, and let me know your thoughts and also whatever questions you have regarding Tantra. I will try to clarify your doubts so that you have a conflict-free understanding of the state of consciousness that all the teachings of Tantra are trying to elucidate. It's all about consciousness, really. And it's about states of conscious being. Namaste. See you in the next video.